to everyone. I just want to be clear with respect to am I audible properly?
Yes, you're
Yes, you're
audible.
audible.
Please
Please
proceed.
I
proceed.
also like to have a PPT display. So
Yes, you
Yes,
can
if
you
share.
can share.
uh, is my PPT visible?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So thank you so much for the University of Mysore and the Department of Law for giving me this opportunity. I am Shambhavi, and the topic of my presentation today is achieving SDG 8 through geographical indication pathways to sustainable economic growth. So startly for the very first thing I would like to do is just to understand what is the objective of the presentation here is like I'm trying to establish a relationship between the geographical indication and economic growth, and the second part is to deal how that economic growth can pursue SDG 8, which specifically talks about having a sustainable economic growth. So I'll start from the start, that is understanding what is GI. So WIPO and the Section 21E of the GI Act has very well defined the definition of geographical indication, and in simple word, it means that we are trying to um, match any product or any good with a specific origin which showcases its reputation and qualities. So that is a geographical indication. There are as per the GI Act, Indian GI Act, there are five types of goods which can be registered as as a geographical indication, which can mean handicrafts, manufactured food items, natural products, and even agricultural products. Few of the examples are Kolhapuri chappal, Mysore agarbatti, Dharwat petha, and the Ambaji white marble, Malabar pepper. However, as we have seen from a couple of times in era, Darjeeling tea and basmati rice are the two GIs which has been quite a successful representation of particular origin, and in showcasing the representation of GI in it as well. Now, what is the significance of economic growth? It improves the living condition, increases income, and we also have the opportunity, if we have a great economic growth, that with respect to investment in public goods such as healthcare, education, and infrastructure. Now, what is SDG 8 and why SDG 8? So sustainability is per se a very complex, I would say, and a comprehensive uh, notion. So SDG 8 is something where we have this one thing that to focus on. Also, India being a signatory of United Nations, we can focus on SDG 8, and we must also. However, the GI Act doesn't say anything about sustainability. So it is about time that we understand the significance of sustainability. Now, in order to understand the economic growth, I've tried to make it in three parts in my paper. One is through understanding the pricing. The other is rural development, and the third is to understand from the perspective of overall how public participation can help us attain a sustainable economic growth. So, through the perspective of premium pricing, now what GI does, GI help us to attribute the good from a particular geographical origin, and through that way we can focus on the authenticity and the quality of the product. It also helps the good to be associated with the cultural history. Now, through this way, it is very easy for a registered proprietor to generate employment opportunities, because the direct registered proprietors are the direct users, direct not users, direct producers of of the particular good. Also, in a study of Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, it suggests that the two major influences for economic development is One is market access, and the other one is differentiation. So uh, uh, in this part of the slide, I'll try to showcase that how GI creates a significant differentiation in order to attain the economic growth, as the study has suggested that influence with respect to economic development can be assessed through these things. Now, yes, we can focus on market access by having other things like if we market a particular GI in a particular manner. But with respect to differentiation, the moment we register a particular good, it creates a differentiation in itself, like per se, because it has a different set of qualities attributed to it. There is a different set of like again genuineness of the product, the superior quality, the exclusiveness, which helps the registered proprietor to command a premium price over that product. So this way GI creates a differentiation which per se helps the registered proprietor to have economic growth perspective in it. Also, because the Indian GI Act is there, it also ensures the legal protection of the GI. It fosters a certain amount of confidence among the consumers to ensure that we not just for 10 years, but like as GI has to be re-registered after 10 years, there is a confidence that my GI will be protected, and I will be having a continuous economic like if with respect to income generation, I would like to say. So there is some sort of sustainability here. Also, Darjeeling tea, basmati rice, these are the examples which has significantly five-folded or doubled the price which has started after the post GI. Darjeeling tea has experienced a five-fold increase in the domestic price. Further, there is Pochampalli saris. Again, after attaining a GI registration, the sale of it has increased. There is a great rise in the pricing. Other than that, because of having a GI, there is a international price has also peaked after attainment of GI, because there's some sort of again reputation added to it, and economic welfare has also there. Again, now the second thing is I would like to discuss with respect to rural development, how, because GI is targeted directly to the specific origin, we can see that majority of geographical indications are surrounded by the rural areas. So European legislation also stated that fostering rural development will assure higher economic returns to the producers and local actors. Further, I would like to say that increasing economic activity of the other states which are linked to the GI per se will help, like the resorts, the grocery stores will per se get more opportunities to be having more opportunities with respect to employment. The third part is with respect to sustainable economic practices. Now, here I've discussed about the participatory process, how the Amazon, other nations like other organizations like Amazon or Made in India, such practices has to be uh, adopted so that we can in together foster the GI. Odisha, for example, celebrates India's best kept secret. So it is a festival where they come up with various GIs, and they try to marketize in a way where an international perspective is gained, and then try to market the product internationally. This also helps to have a proper I would say attention on our GIs. So in these manner, I have tried to concluded it. The sustainable economic growth. The last phase of my presentation will be the suggestion. How can we foster economic growth after all this? So this will be like strengthening the legal and institutional framework for GIs. Yes, it is hard. The law perspective could be a little difficult, but we can always think more about the sustainability aspect, because, as I said, GI Act doesn't have any sustainability in criteria under it. Again, connecting GIs to the rural development and tourism program, why the Darjeeling tea has gained so much success and not other GIs. So associating our GIs with the tourism packages utilizing the world market. We have a lot of trade agreement issues with respect to GIs. EU is not supporting or cooperating, so the we can enhance our GIs with respect to that. Again, enhancing awareness, like I can say that a lot of people living in their state do not know the what are the GIs of their particular state. Maybe do not consume the products of their geography. So in general, I will say that raising awareness. Now we have India has 600 GIs and EU has 3,500 GIs, and EU states to be like 87 billion US dollar GI economy. Now India has 600, which is definitely, I would say, maybe like a very little as compared to EU, but we can at least uh, aspire to have some billion dollar economy as compared to EU. Although it is going to be a very tough task, but again, we can always aspire to be. So I would like to conclude my presentation by that.
Thank you.
If there are any questions.
Thank you. Tirupati has explored how geographical indication can be leveraged to promote sustainable economic growth under SDG 8, that is decent work and economic growth. She has emphasized on the role of GI in preserving local cultures, empowering communities, and stimulating rural economies through the protection of unique and traditional products. Is there any question concerning her presentation? We see none. So thank you, ma'am. We shall proceed with the next
Thank you
presentation.
so much for giving me
Yes,
the opportunity.
yes, welcome. You're most welcome. So we shall move with the next presenter, um, Rajpal from the DPIIT IPR, the same university, Hidayatullah National Law University. The topic which is going to be addressed is, yes, ma'am is
Hi.
going to
I
address you
hope
on the,
good afternoon, everyone.
yes,
I hope I am audible.
yes, you're audible. Please proceed.
Let me just share my screen.
Yes,
I'd
please
like to share.
proceed.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I would firstly like to thank the University of Mysore for giving me this opportunity. I hope my PPT is visible.
Yes, it is visible, ma'am. You may proceed, please.
Let me proceed. So, the topic on which I'm going to present today is addressing the adverse environmental impact of fast fashion. And as the Waipur Treaty has been signed recently, I would be looking at it with a reference to the same treaty. Uh, One of the major challenges that we face in today's world with respect to sustainability and fashion is fast fashion. So, to understand what is fast fashion, everybody in the market nowadays terms it as a quick entry and a quick exit. So, fast fashions are basically rip-offs of famous designers. The fast fashion retailers simply copy designs from famous designers and brands, send them to a local vendor or an overseas vendor usually. So if I am in US and I want to copy a design, I'd copy a US design, send it to China, Bangladesh or India where I can find cheap labor, get it copied, get it manufactured, and then sell it at a very cheap price. This gives us the satisfaction of having a branded design at a very, very cheap price. But of course, there are always environmental impacts to this, which I would discuss. So, in the first part of the presentation, I would be discussing that how fast fashion is harmful for environment. Proceeding further, I'll discuss how we can use intellectual property to combat fast fashion, and at the end, I'll analyze the design law treaty to see if that would help us in combating fast fashion or not. So the key IPRs that are capable of protecting fast fashion, that are capable of protecting fashion designs are copyright, trademark, patents, and designs. But as in India, we have a sui generis design law. That is where the focus would be just on design and the design law treaty. First of all, let us discuss the effects of fashion on our environment. As I said, fast fashion is quick entry and quick exit. So, when there is quick entry, it means that the manufacture is going on at a very fast speed. That means that 24/7 factories are on manufacturing clothes. This is very harmful for the environment as the factories are running 24/7. 10% of global carbon emissions around the world are because of the fashion industry. This is not only harmful for air, it not only contaminates the air, it also depletes our water supplies, it contaminates the rivers and streams, it contaminates our drinking water. It is very harmful for ocean life, river life, and all the ocean animals surviving there. Apart from this, as fast fashion is quick entry and quick exit, so now quick entry is
Salam, just give me a moment. I'll share my screen with you.
Yes, please proceed.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Igmas Matlub, and my topic is traditional knowledge and SDG 15, intellectual property rights as a tool for biodiversity conservation. So, I would like to introduce by saying that traditional knowledge comprises of the practices, innovations, customs, traditions of indigenous communities, which play a vital role in biodiversity conservation. These types of experiences and practices are those that are traditionally passed orally from generation to generation in indigenous tribes because of their close connection to the forestry and wildlife. They have a natural affiliation with uh, biodiversity conservation. Sustainable Development Goal 15, number 15, emphasizes on protecting terrestrial ecosystems, aligning with traditional knowledge, with principles to halt biodiversity loss and combat desertification. The relevant provisions of the on biological diversity conservation uh, is Article 8J of the Convention on Biological Diversity. This article calls for respect and preservation of indigenous knowledge and practices. Traditional knowledge fosters biodiversity conservation through sustainable practices such as sacred natural sites, crop rotation, polyculture. They limit the hunting of animals for a certain period or to a certain extent. They follow the practices of crop rotation and polyculture so as to maintain an equilibrium in natural ecosystem. Example of such practices is a sacred forest in Ghana project, biodiversity and cultural heritage. Article 15 of the Convention on Biological Diversity mandates prior informed consent for access to genetic resources. By prior informed consent, it means that the consent has to be free, it has to be prior, and it has to be informed. By informed, it means that the person whose consent is to be obtained has to know the whole of circumstances to which he is giving his consent, as well as he ought to know of the consequences of that consent. There was a case of Divya Pharmacy versus Union of India. In this case, the Uttarakhand High Court upheld benefit sharing obligations under India's Biological Diversity Act 2002. The IPR framework for traditional knowledge includes patents, geographical indications, and sui generis systems to protect traditional knowledge, such as uh, national policy on biodiversity that is being implemented in Brazil or in Peru. There are laws for protection of traditional knowledge. Also in Philippines, the sui generis system, which provides for rights of
Mr. Matlub, we are not able to hear you. Yes.
communal rights. Relevant provisions are India's Biodiversity Act, Section 6, which requires approval before sharing traditional knowledge for research or commercialization. The Nagoya Protocol, which ensures fair benefit sharing from genetic resource use. Uh, and there was a case of turmeric patent. In this case, the turmeric powder, which is used for its anti-heating properties, especially in the northeastern parts of India, uh, a US company obtained its patent, which was later on appealed by the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research of India. They collected extensive evidence of its traditional use, and thereby this patent was revoked on the basis of recognition of traditional knowledge. Equitable benefit sharing, the conservation of biological diversity, along with its Nagoya Protocol, ensures for access and benefit sharing uh, for compensation of traditional knowledge contributions. Section 21 of India's Biological Diversity Act mandates sharing of benefit with local
Mr. Matlub,
communities.
could you precisely tell what are the reading to the text? Could you say that how that SDG and IPR are connected to the present context? But the special reference, what you're discussing is traditional knowledge. Because we are running out of time, you may not be able to complete what you have prepared for. Like exactly what is your finding? How you see the nexus between the traditional knowledge and the sustainable development?
Sir, traditional knowledge represents the cumulative wisdom, practices, and beliefs of indigenous communities developed through generations of interactions with the natural environment. So, this paper explores the critical role of traditional knowledge in achieving Sustainable Development Goal 15. Sustainable Development Goal 15 emphasizes it focuses on sustainable management uh, of terrestrial ecosystem and biodiversity conservation. TK offers sustainable practices in agriculture, uh, forestry, and medicine, contributing significantly to ecological balance. However, the communal nature of traditional knowledge, it poses a challenge for its integration into the existing IPR framework, which are prominently individualistic. So this study highlights the gap in IPR systems and their
Right.
implications
See,
by including examples of
Mr. Matlub,
biopiracy.
Mr. Matlub, SDG 15 talks about the biodiversity conservation. You are
Yes.
discussing on the traditional knowledge, how this traditional knowledge has been explored. What are your findings? If you could emphasize on the findings, then we would be glad to. We can have ample of time to discuss. Yes.
Sir, this SDG 15 does not specifically talks about conservation of biodiversity, but it
It is a part of it.
emphasizes
Yes.
focuses on terrestrial ecosystem, which is also part of biodiversity. And by its conservation, it relates to conservation of biodiversity because there are, as I said earlier, the IPR framework is mainly individualistic because it is for the benefit of individual and for innovation purposes. But this traditional knowledge, because it is a communal thing and because it is collectively enjoyed by indigenous people, so thereby it presents a challenge in the IPR regime, and because Interestingly, there are various provisions such as Section 21 of Indian Biological Diversity Act, Nagayo Protocol, which is Article 15, then CBT Article 15. These types of provisions they provide for protection of uh, indigenous people for access to benefit, access to genetic resources, and for prior informed consent, for mutually agreed terms for benefit sharing. By In this way, these things are interconnected, and they complement each other. If I would just mention a few case studies regarding protection of traditional knowledge. For example, in Kani tribe, they collaborated on Arogya Bachya plant, which led to a development of Jeevni drug. This There was a collaboration with the company Botanical Gardens and Research Institute. They decided on a 50-50 basis license fee and 2% royalties. This way, we can see the integration of IPR and traditional knowledge, where benefits are provided to the when indigenous population, the actual holders of that knowledge on which this Arogya Bachya plant led to Jeevni drug. Then the another case is the neem patent, Indian farmers case, in which led to a revocation on patent uh, uh, at the European Patent Office, because this
Sir,
case,
you have
because the
sir, you have
process of
exhausted
oil
your time.
production was again placed.
Sir, you have exhausted your time. Is there any question with this topic? Mr. Akmal's presentation examined the relationship between traditional knowledge and biodiversity conservation. However, he has emphasized the need for the robust IT protection to safeguard the indigenous knowledge and practices to contribute sustainable management of the natural resources. Is there any question concerning to his presentation? We see none. Thank you so much for your presentation. So I would like to request back Palak Rajpal to connect back. Her presentation was not over, so that was due to technical issue. She got disconnected. Ma'am, the floor is yours.
I would like to quickly wrap this as there is some issue with the network and I don't want to waste anybody's time. So, as I was saying, the effects of fast fashion, I had completed the effect of fast fashion on climate. Now, I'd like to continue further. To quickly wrap it, the first point was that 10% of global carbon emissions are due to fast fashion industries. The second point is, as most of the material used is synthetic, it is not biodegradable and it cannot be recycled. So, this not only causes harm on the soil, it is also very harmful for people who try to grow food around that soil. So it is not just reducing our space to grow crop, but it is also going into our system, because most of the material used is synthetic, which is 50% to 80% plastic. Apart from this, the water consumption of these industries is very high, like 93 billion cubic meters of water each year is used by these industries to make clothes. Now, because we have to fulfill the demands of people, we have to keep the companies and factories running. The water is consumed at a very high rate, and this is usually fresh water, so that is even more harmful. Now, coming to the second part of my presentation, which is why intellectual property is important. So intellectual property is very important in combating fast fashion, because once you give a design protection through IP, they are not prone to be copied by free riders. So once the design is protected, it will be harder for these fast fashion retailers to copy the design and then get it manufactured. So business across the globe invest a huge amount of money in the R&D of designs, because the factor which attracts people while buying fashion is of course design. Even our act, the design act, says that design, in the definition it says that design should be appealing to the eyes. So that is why as soon as you start protecting your designs with the help of intellectual property rights, it would be harder to copy them. And as it gets harder to copy them, you cannot make fast fashion at that quick rate. So it would not deplete the environment at the rate in which it is depleting right now. um, this is These are few datas which I've collected. So this shows the amount of water which is used by the fashion industry, the first picture. The second picture shows the negative impact, and the third picture shows the impact on soil. So it says that one garbage truck of clothes are burned every second, not even in a day, but every second. So this is a data of US, but of course India is no far, because I couldn't get a correct data of India. So this was just for an example. Now I'd be missing this case highlight, because the case highlight is with respect to the importance of intellectual property right. Rather, I'd go ahead and explain you why the Wiper Yard Design Law Treaty would be efficient in combating fast fashion. Now, the first thing that it would enable is international registration. So, international brands like Dior, LV, etc., are unable to protect their uh, fashion, material, and designs in other countries. So, as I said, when it comes to fast fashion, you copy the design in one country and you send it for manufacturing in the smaller countries because cheap labor. So now, when you have international registration, the design will not only be protected in one country but in the other country as well. Apart from that, now the Whitewood Treaty would give you a priority date. So even if your design is out in the market and it's unregistered, for the first 6 months, it will be protected. The third point is that it would be very beneficial for SMEs, because there are provisions for capacity building. So when it says capacity building, the act or the treaty says that it will provide people who can come and explain what intellectual property in designs would mean for the developing and underdeveloped countries. Apart from this, one of the very most important thing that is there in the treaty is a provision to deal with exploitation of traditional knowledge. So while filing a application for design, the treaty makes it mandatory for you to put in details of the design that is being printed. So there is a case highlight with respect to the same. So this is a case when Christian Dior copied a design from India and posted it on a magazine. This is a GI tag of block printing from Rajasthan. This was copied by Dior, and then Sonam Kapoor wore it in the Elle magazine cover. So now, if, for example, taking the present situation with DLT, now if Dior goes and wants to register the design, it will have to specify that this design has been taken from a GI tag which belongs to India. Hence, the design registration will not take place. So SMEs and small manufacturers of design will be safeguarded. So these were few points which would help us, understand fast fashion and combat it. I'd like to conclude by saying that fast fashion is degrading our environment at a very rapid rate. Hence, if we have already signed the design law treaty, but as soon as we ratify it, India would be benefiting from it a lot. So once fashion designs start getting protected at a faster rate, it would really be helpful for India in combating the fast fashion. There would be no copied material available. I can't say literally no, but of course the numbers would be reduced, because copying would take more tricky methods. You will have to change the design a bit to copy it. You won't be able to copy it exactly. So it would be very beneficial if we ratify the treaty. These are a few suggestions which I felt would be, which are some things which the treaty could have. Like the first one is, we could have, the treaty says that you have to specify the GI. So apart from that, you can see the origin of designs as well. That would also help SMEs. Apart from that, the capacity building program, which there is a provision for that, but it doesn't say anything about public awareness. So SMEs and public, if they are not aware that they can protect their designs, there is no point of having a system of protection. The last point is that, along with having a better registration process, what we could do to attain sustainability is give recognition to green or eco designs. Now, green and eco designs are designs which are made by having a thought of the environment in mind. So when you're designing a product, maybe
Thank
a
you, ma'am.
cloth, you make
Ma'am,
it from recycled products.
thank you, ma'am. You are exhausted with your time. Thank you for your presentation. Is there any
Thank you so
question
much.
concerning to this topic? Is there any question from audience? Right. We shall move to the next presenters.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Next presenter is Akshat Arain and Akshina from Reva University. The topic would be discussed on blockchain technology and intellectual property registries, protecting Adivasi's traditional knowledge and biodiversity rights in Nayamgiri Hills. Akshana?
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, good
I'm
afternoon.
Akshat Aryan,
Yes.
along with my co-author Akansha Pillai. But
Yes.
in order to have a continuation and flow of thoughts, I
Yes.
would be talking today. So today our
So
topic
if
is
you are,
blockchain
if
intellectual.
yeah, sorry for interruption. If you are both, if you are presenting, so please mind your time that you have to allocate in the way that you could manage with 10 minutes. If you are presenting, so
Uh,
it's fine. Then you have 8 minutes and 2 minutes we should have for questions and answer. Yes.
Indeed, sir. So our topic today is blockchain intellectual property registries protecting Adivasi traditional knowledge and biodiversity rights in the Niamgiri Hills. The preservation and protection of indigenous traditional knowledge represents a crucial goal challenge which showcases the nexus of cultural sustainability, intellectual property rights, along with ecological conservation. Our research paper specifically focuses and explores how blockchain technology can be used and it can act as a replacement mechanism for documenting, protecting, and potentially monetizing indigenous ecological knowledge. And we have a specific focus on the Adivasi community of the Nyamgiri Hill, which is located in Odisha, India. The Nyamgiri Hill represents a compelling case study which is embodying the complex intersection between indigenous communities, their practices, and external development pressures. Indigenous Adivasi communities have historically maintained intricate ecological knowledge systems that represent centuries of sustainable practices, environmental management, and profound biological understanding. However, these communities face persistent challenge of knowledge appropriation, economic marginalization, and cultural erosion. Therefore, it necessitates the innovative approach to intellectual property, protecting their culture and preserving it. The Nyamgiri Hill being a home to the Dongria Kond indigenous community, this region has been the epicenter for intense environmental and cultural preservation struggles. Most of them notably in the landmark resistance against extractive mining of bauxite in this particular area by the Vedanta group. Existential threat to their traditional knowledge systems abound particularly when it comes to biodiversity and ecological management. Biopiracy is also an alarming crisis that has emerged today. Blockchain technology offers a potentially transformative solution to these long-standing challenges as a decentralized, immutable, and transparent digital infrastructure. Blockchain provides unprecedented opportunity for documenting, protecting, and potentially monetizing traditional ecological knowledge. The core attributes of technology cryptographic security. The core attributes of blockchain is cryptographic security and distributed verification, resistance to manipulation, and uniquely align the requirement for comprehensive knowledge protection. Furthermore, in order to promote the protection of tribe, there's an acute need to have an advanced cryptographic algorithm in the same way how we have for the cryptocurrency. We can observe that when the relevant info, so there are three components in a block. So many blocks together make forms of blockchain. So in a block, there are three information that is very important. First is the relevant information that we put in. The second is the hash number. So every block in a blockchain will have a unique hash number, and every block will also have the previous hash number. So there are three layers of security that is present in a blockchain that makes it very difficult and equal to impossible to change the data that is stored and protected in the blockchain. For instance, in a Bitcoin blockchain, there are crores and crores of blocks that are present. And for changing each block, the data in each block and the hash number, it takes nearly 10 minutes. So for changing data and the hash number in every block, it will take nearly 200 years, which is equal to impossible. So that is how blockchain can promote the protection of data of the Adivasi communities. So it protects the endangered information in the best way possible. Traditional knowledge have been classified, and it might be vocal, it might be in the form, it might be documented, or it may not be documented. When we specifically talk about the Dongria Kon tribe, the information of these communities have not been documented. Let it be the plant variety, let it be the traditional jewelry or the clothes that they wear. All these things are not documented from generations. It is a verbal transformation of information from one person to the other in the community. So local communities have to be protected, and furthermore, there's a small project that is launched by Government of India called as Mansa, that is a national level specialized agency which assists the local communities with tourism development, and simultaneously it also promotes natural landscape in particular region, and also it helps in product marketing with the help of blockchain. So the same thing can be done on a larger scale in order to to increase tourism and also to protect the indigenous knowledge of these communities. So if we incorporate blockchain in such manner, there are four advantages. There's a reduce of wastage of resources, enhances waste management, promotes environmental protection, reduces the risk of using indigenous knowledge in unethical manner. The main problem today the tribal communities are facing is the lack of technical capacity and to protect their indigenous knowledge from being used unethically or from biopiracy. They are unable to protect their products or to share the resources with the
Sir,
people whom they want to share with, and
sir, you are exhausted
due to
with your
this,
sir, you are exhausted with your time. Could you precisely say that what are the regions in India that they have protected the traditional knowledge through blockchain technology, and what is exactly
uh,
your findings with this? Yeah.
So the Nyamgri Hill is a very unique place where they have their own traditional jewelry, and there are a lot of plant varieties that are available, that like sweet papayas, pineapples. There are Junu resins that are
Right,
grown
but
there.
this things
So
is
all these
available
plants,
elsewhere also. That papayas we get in
yes.
Mysore as well.
So indeed, we get papayas here as well, but the papayas that are grown there, that the taste of those papayas differ because the
That
soil,
can be
each and
protected.
every
There is a GI law already. We have a geographical indication law for that.
we have a geological indication law, but it is very restrictive, and the advantage of these laws are not able to reach these people because they are not able to protect it, and the people who are coming to them to look to see the people in these areas, they unethically use these crops or even the jewelry for that matter, and they use it in a wrong manner. So the
Okay. Are
unethical
you
use of the
looking?
jewelry, the
Are you
clothes that they
looking for?
grow.
Are you looking for a specific statute to protect only the Niamgiri Hill, or do you want any comprehensive legislation to protect all the traditional knowledge in such
We want to
regions?
strengthen. Yes, sir. So we want to strengthen we want the Biodiversity Act as well as the GI Act to be strengthened with the help of blockchain technology, so that the knowledge that these communities have, that can be protected in the most appropriate manner, and it will not be misused in the future. There's a shawl that I have to mention.
Yes. Could you
The
share?
shawl name is the Kapda Ganda shawl. That is one of the shawls that is stitched by the Adivasi community in the Nyamgiri Hills, the Dongria Kond tribe. This is the only thing that has got a GI tag over there. There are various other things that these people produce, that they've
So
made,
basically, you are
but that
trying
has
to
not
say
got
that.
any kind of protection.
Basically, you are trying to say that I mean, information technology, such as blockchain technology, to be integrated to GI and biodiversity
Indeed,
protection.
sir.
Right.
Indeed.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there
Thank
any
you so much,
question
sir.
concerning to this from audience? Is there any question? So I believe there's no question. We will move to the next presenter, Mr. Chandra Shekhar, Assistant Professor, Galuga, Galgodias University, and with his co-author, Dr. Ankit, from National Law University, again, we have from Raipur. So the topic which has been chosen here is patent law and human rights, conflicting or complementing each other. So the floor is yours. Yes, you have 10 minutes.
Yeah, so sure. So I just want to share slides.
Yes, please. Yes.
Uh, Now, sir, is it visible?
Uh, we don't see your presentation, sir.
Okay, sir. I'm just trying once more time. If it is, then otherwise I will start my presentation.
Right. Are you trying with mobile phone?
Yes, because there is a network error in
Okay, right.
that's why, sir, I am not connecting in
Okay.
on laptop, sir.
Please try.
Sorry, sir. I don't think that it will
Okay,
be easy
you
to
proceed.
share.
Yes.
So, sir, yeah. So,
Yes.
sir, thank you, sir, for first of all, sir, providing me an opportunity to present about this topic in this prestigious international webinar. So, sir, my topic is patent law and human right,
Could you specify from
conflicting
where are
or
you
complementing.
presenting? Could you tell us from where are you presenting your paper? Where is your location right now?
Sir, actually, Galgodia University is located in Greater Noida, that is in Uttar Pradesh, sir.
Okay, I thought
Greater
that
Noida,
this is
sir.
a foreign
Yeah,
university.
Delhi.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
It was looking for us like a foreign university. Right.
Yeah.
Please
It is
proceed.
sir, it is located in Delhi NCR,
Okay, right.
National Capital
Yeah,
Region.
please proceed.
So as we are having a very less time, so I just want to, I have just prepared the 5 slides to sum up the issues and to sum up the discussion. So first, basically to introduce about that what is a patent and what is human rights. As we know these things very easy manner, and we know these things very well, that the patents is an intellectual property which is granted with respect to the invention, and invention should be the new, and that invention should have an inventive step as well as the industrial application. Then, by like suppose I have got the patent, then with respect to the patent, I will be given certain kinds of exclusive rights. These exclusive rights are given in the right in persona. So there are two kinds of concept, that is right in rem and right in persona. So patents are the right in personam because they are given to the person, and right in them is the human rights concept. So human rights are given to the public at large. So there are certain international conventions as well, which basically have recognized the the particular human rights. For example, UDHR, ICCPR, ICESCR. So these are the certain international covenants where the human rights have been recognized. Yes, there are certain other conventions as well, like if we talk about the discrimination against the women and children. So there are other, but yes, for this particular paper, I have taken these three conventions. If we talk about the Constitution of India, so whether there has been any like interference of the human rights and IPR or human rights and patent, then first of all, I would like to talk about that whether in our Constitution of India there has been any description about the IPR or patent or law. So, if we try to find out the constitutional background of the patent law in our Constitution of India, so there are very few circumstances when we can find out the particular circumstances. For example, the union list. Union list in one of the items has provided, that is the entry 47, that particularly provides that yes, union can make law with respect to the innovation, like invention, patent, design. So just except this, there is no other mention in the whole of the Constitution of India regarding the intellectual property protection. But yes, with the like due course of time and judicial interpretation, the court has analyzed and the court has interpreted Article 21, that is right to life, Article 19 1G, that is particularly right to do the trade, Article 300A, that is right to property. So the court has basically recognized that yes, intellectual property can be considered as in property like the other physical property. Now, if I talk about the conflicts between the patent and human rights, so like I have talked in two particular parts. One is with respect to the pharmaceutical sector, and second one is with respect to the patent amendment rules, which have been made recently in 2024. So the pharmaceutical sector, there is a like a likelihood of like assumption, or we can say, because I'm not putting any kind of hypothesis that whether there is a violation or not. So yes, there are a certain circumstances where we can basically see that yes, patents are violating the human rights or the fundamental rights in our Constitution of India. For example, the Section 5 of the Patent Act, which basically talked about that like drugs, medicines, foods. With respect to these kinds of inventions, there will be a no kind of product patent. But 2005 Patent Amendment Act has repealed this particular provision. So now we have to give the process patent as well as the product patent upon the medicines, upon the drugs, as well as upon the foods. So the TRIPS amendment, which has taken place since 1999, 2002, 2005, that has also changed a lot with respect to this particular pharmaceutical sector. And yes, before this particular amendments, our generic industry was very strong. Now, after these amendments, only few industries or only few pharmaceutical companies in India are like basically can basically produce this generic medicine. Yes, today nowadays India is having one of the leading position with respect to the generic medicines export market as well. Now, if I talk about the other than Section 5 or other than product patent, so there are certain more provisions as well, which are creating a problem, like Section 3 Clause D, Section 3 Clause E of the Patent Act. But yes, these two provisions are in the Patent Act because of the flexibilities which were provided in the TRIPS. So 3D basically supports the Indian constitutional like basic idea that is socialism, or in order to protect the fundamental rights, Article 21 of the Constitution of India. Yes, because 3D says that if suppose you have made any kind of a discovery of a known substance, then it will not be granted a patent. The Novartis case is the best example of Section 3 Clause D. Same, there are certain other circumstances like the pre-grant opposition and the post-grant, and one of the most important mechanism in the patent act which we are having, that is compulsory licensing. So these are certain circumstances which, according to the pharmaceutical countries, and if we talk about the pharmaceutical lobbies from the developed countries, they are saying that yes, these are the situations where we can find out the patent and human rights conflict, and the patent rights are getting violated. But if we see all the circumstances from a developing country or from the Indian perspectives, yes, we can see that these are the situations from where we can do the flexibilities with respect to the product patent. Now, next I talk about, I have mentioned certain particular cases, but before that, I would like to
Sir,
talk about the patent amendment rules. Yes, sir.
yes, sir, you are exhausted with your time. Could you please brief? Uh, yes.
Sure, sir.
What is your finding? You
So, sir,
highlight.
patent,
Yes.
Yes, sir. So, sir, patent amendment rules, which has been recently published in 2024, they have changed certain kinds of criteria. For example, there are certain good changes has been made. For example, the timeline of the examination has been reduced. But yes, along with that, with respect to the opposition, that has been changed a drastic manner because now the fee has been imposed. If any person wants to make a opposition, he has to pay the fee. Earlier, there was no fee. Now, the discretion of the controller has also been integrated. Earlier, it was not there. So basically, all these provisions, there has been a change of provisions with respect to the working patents, foreign applications. So all these changes have been made in the recent patent amendment rules. Now, all these are whatever the changes are have been made, whether they are in the interest of the trade companies or whether they have been made because India had entered into the FTA with the other countries, or because see if we see the data, I have mentioned the data as well because 22-23 report of the patent that is IC India has published. According to that, only 0.06%, like if you see that 94,000 applications were filed and 420 applications got opposed, which is just as
Thank you, sir.
0.06%. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir, for exploring often debated intersection of patent law and human rights. As you have discussed both, that they are promoting and sometimes IP law promotes and sometimes hinders that human rights, particularly with essential medicines and technology. Particularly, you see in the context of SDG, and we have experienced COVID-19, which India was advocating for the life-saving drugs from the developed countries. So, is there any question concerning to this topic, the intersection of patent and human rights? I'm seeking question from the audience.
Can I ask the question?
Yes, please.
I would like to know the suggestions that would be given from Mr. Chandrasekhar.
Yeah, ma'am, like with respect to the suggestions, like the recent amendments which have been made. So, ma'am, if we talk about the section 84, that is a compulsory licensing. So, till now in India, only one case where there has been a circumstances the compulsory license has been granted. So, like there are so many cases, like the extra case, where the compulsory license was not granted. So if we talk from the developing countries or from the Indian perspective, so we should support the compulsory licensing provisions more. But recently, when I have attended one of the TWN, that is a Third World Network Summit, so there was a basically arguments from the side that the government is also thinking about that there is no use of the compulsory licensing provisions. So if like suggestions can be like yes, compulsory licensing can be basically used in order to provide the access to the essential medicines and pre-grant and post-grant. So like we are basically listening to the developed countries more. Like special 301 report has been released by the US. Now, according to that, we are basically amending our patent laws and we are like creating a problem. Like we are basically creating an obstacle with respect to the pre-grant and the post-grant oppositions. So, like earlier there was no such fee, but now we have mentioned the fee. Like, what is the problem? When I have also mentioned that there is only 0.06% of the patent oppositions. So, like patent opposition can also be encouraged because this is the one way. Like at that time, the NGOs like the Third World Network and other kinds of organizations, they can put a opposition for the like to support the needy people and to support the basically essential medicines access.
Right. Thank you. Now we have Sheila ma'am. Are you satisfied with the recommendation and the
Yes, yes,
findings?
I follow. Thank you.
Yeah, right. So we shall proceed with the next presenters. So till here, those papers which are presented, those are accepted for us, even in the form of uh, presentation and also publications. These were genuine papers with the findings. So we have some other presenters. Now I would like to request Serena with the co-author Dr. L. Maiteli to present the topic. The title of the presentation is Leveraging Intellectual Property Frameworks to Accelerate Sustainable Innovation in Electrical Vehicle Technology. So the topic is very specific. Serena, are you there? Can you hear us? Once again, Serena, can you hear us? Right. So we will move to the next presenters, Vivek Jain, which discuss on balancing intellectual property rights with the public interest.
Ready? Sunita is ready.
Serena is ready. Please proceed.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Ma'am, since you are
Correct.
you have a co-author with you, so each one of you have got 5 minutes. So you have to use your time judiciously so that you can save your time and you can present what is your findings.
Is it visible, sir?
You are visible, but your presentation is not visible. Would you like to share?
Yes, yes.
Please rotate your camera. You have made vertical.
Yes.
Ask us.
Good evening, Manager present
Ma'am,
here.
could you
Thank you for sharing.
could you
Thank you
rotate
for present.
could you
Sir?
rotate your camera, ma'am? Could you rotate your camera?
Yes. Am I audible?
You are audible, but you need to rotate your camera. Otherwise, you could off.
Tamil Nadu.
Okay, you can off your camera. You can present. Okay.
My topic is sustainable innovation
Ma'am,
and intellectual property.
ma'am,
Yes.
could you rotate your camera or switch off your cameras?
Okay, okay. Great.
Just switch off and you present. If you cannot rotate. Yeah, now it's fine. Now it's fine.
Yes.
No, again you have shift. Just okay. Now it's fine. Now it's fine. Yeah, please proceed. Yeah, ma'am.
Clear, sir?
Yes. You please proceed.
Okay, my topic is IP strategies vary across different industry sectors due to differences in technology, market dynamics, and competitive landscape. So here are some examples for renewable energy, sustainable agriculture, eco-friendly materials, green building, clean transportation. Property and sustainable development goals, SDGs. So what are the impacts of intellectual property on sustainable innovation? IP has positive impact on sustainable innovation in different industry sectors. So encourage investment in R&D, then promote brand recognition and reputation, protect confidential information. So these are the impact on sustainable innovation. We know that patenting encourages investment in research and development, particularly in the renewable energy and clean transportation sectors, and promote brand recognition and reputation. We know that trademarks and copyright promote brand recognition and reputation, particularly in the sustainable agriculture and green building sectors. Protects confidential information. We know that trade secrets protect confidential information, particularly in the eco-friendly material sector. So best practices for intellectual property management. Here are some best practices for IP management in promoting sustainable innovation. Conduct IP audit, develop an IP strategy, use IP protection mechanism, and collaborate with the IP experts, monitor and enforce IP rights. So, sustainable innovation is a multidisciplinary field that draws on insights from innovation studies, sustainability, science, and IP law. So, sustainable innovation is equal to innovation studies and sustainability science plus IP law. So, this is the ultimate effect of sustainable innovation. Innovation studies plus sustainability science and IP law. So in this study, the methodology uses comparative analysis of 5 industry sectors, especially renewable energy, sustainable agriculture, eco-friendly materials, green buildings, and clean transportation. So data collection from multiple sources, patent data, industrial reports, academic articles, and expert interviews. So result of the study, uh, co-creation, sustainability, alignment, inclusiveness, flexibility and timing, deliberation, intention, sustainable development goals. So these factors uh, go through the sustainable development goals of a corporate company. So sustainability alignment, co-creation, inclusiveness, flexibility and timing, and deliberation of intention. So responsible IP strategy. We have to apply these strategies in order to uh, convert a sustainable development strategy. This is the result of this study. Then discussions and the conclusion. Our study provides insight into the relationship between IP and sustainable innovation. We conclude that IP is a critical component sustainable innovation and that its effective management can promote the development and the diffusion of sustainable technologies. So,
Um,
sustainability and the
Ma'am,
domain.
what is exactly your findings with this intersection, what you're talking about, information
Yes.
technology and IPR and sustainable development? Where do you see the nexus between these three domains?
Yes, there are certain recommendations that policymakers develop IP policies that promote sustainable innovation. Then
In what
industry
way?
leaders,
Is there any policy that passed by the government of India as of now? What are the policies which states has implemented? Like where it
yes,
reached? Yes.
yes, patent rights, copyrights, these policies are implemented in India in order to
These
promote
are statutes. If you
intellectual
talk about
property rights.
copyright, if you talk about the copyright was enacted in 1957. If you talk about the patent, is also early. So, what are the current policies with regard to integration of these three domains? We have a Technology Act 2005. Then we have a IPR as umbrella term. Then we have Sustainable Development Goal that to be achieved by 2030. Yes, and we have experienced the same COVID-19, which have you see that India has given vaccination to the most of the neighboring states and other states. So what is exactly your finding? Where is the legal framework that is missing that to be highlighted?
Yes, CSR is implemented to adopt the green revolution in corporate sector. So implementation of IPR through the green revolution is one of the policies implemented currently. So effective IP management is crucial for promoting sustainable revolution. Adopting balanced approach of IP management, we can promote the development of sustainable technology. So in order to introduce
Right, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You're exhausted with your time. So next presenter, we have Vivek Jain, who is presenting on the balancing intellectual property right with the public interest. Vivek Jain, are you there? Can you hear us? So, without further delay, we shall move to the next presenter, Jethrin, and Anita, and Fatima Hanan. Fatima Hanan, Anita, and Jithin. Am I audible? So, right. Okay, I'm looking for Sumati on driving innovation for sustainable future and connecting intellectual property with SDGs. Sumati, are you present?
Yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
please, you proceed.
Can I share my screen?
Yes, you can share your screen and you have 10 minutes.
Whether my screen is visible, sir?
Yes, it is visible, very much visible. Please proceed.
A very good evening to everyone present here, and it's my pleasure to be here. And in today's presentation, I'll be presenting on the topic driving innovation for a sustainable future, connecting intellectual property with sustainable development goals. The main reason for choosing this particular topic is that the interplay between intellectual property and sustainable development goal provides a framework for achieving global issues related to climate change, biodiversity loss, inequality, health crisis, and environmental degradation through innovation and technology to reaffirm the pursuit of sustainable development goals for a better world. And this emerging interrelation between intellectual property and sustainable development can be seen as a double-edged sword because it also gives rise to some legal concerns. In today's presentation, first I will provide a basic outline about the sustainable development goal and its need for, and then I'll dwell into how this intellectual property contributes to specific sustainable development goals and the challenges associated in it. Moving ahead, to know the very basic outline about the sustainable development and need for it. The basic need for sustainable development is the interdependence of human and the environment. And this interdependence provided and made a liability on the human to conserve and preserve the resources and ecosystem for a better world. And the sustainable development is not only about the environmental development, it focuses the interdependence of economic, social, and environmental development, but it also provides a future strategy and adoption for a sustainable future. In From the most definition, sustainable development can be seen as achieving the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future to achieve their basic needs. Keeping all this in mind, United Nations in 2000 came up with eight Millennium Development Goals, which mainly focuses on poverty alleviation, health, education, and environmental sustainability, with the target year of 2050. In line up with Millennium Development Goals, the United Nations in the 2012, through the United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development, have come up with 17 Sustainable Development Goals to achieve the concepts that had already been stated in the Millennium Development Goals, with the target of 169 and specifically focusing on 2030. To move further to measure the impact of intellectual property on achieving sustainable development goals, as we know that intellectual property provides a very basic outline for innovation and sustainable technologies. With regard to goal number 3, which particularly talks about health and well-being, intellectual property, particularly patent, plays a major role in the development of medical tools, technologies, and pharmaceuticals, and these are very helpful for a life saving a particular person or an individual. And IP also provides certain flexibilities like a compulsory licensing, which granted under patent helps everyone to achieve these medical tools and medicines at affordable rate. One such example for that is in 2012, India issued a compulsory license for various patented drugs, that is Maxover, which is used to treat cancer at affordable price. Moving ahead to talk about the knowledge sharing and the social equality, which presented under Sustainable Development Goals 4 and 5. Sustainable Development Goal, which particularly talks about inclusive and quality education and lifelong learning opportunities. In order to promote an inclusive and quality education, a copyright laws and an exception under this is like fair use provides an open open access to the copyrighted material for teaching and learning process by respecting the rights of the creator. One such example for that is UNESCO's Open Education Resource, which provides free access and the access to the licensed product for you for using it to teaching, learning and research process. And patent also provides a major role in promoting goal 4 through the educational technologies that are used in e-learning platform. And more example to state is that, like in India we have this mock swayam and swayam prabha. All this provides an opportunity for everyone to get an access to the copyrighted material only for the teaching and learning teaching and learning materials. And through this, IP promotes Goal 7 and also helps to develop social equity by empowering women and promoting the gender equality, which is stated under Goal 5. Moving ahead to know about Sustainable Development Goal 7, which particularly talks about clean energy, clean and modern energy. So in this, IP like advanced technologies like solar photovoltaic, wind energy, hydropower system, geothermal, ocean energy, and battery technologies have significantly helped to achieve this goal by reducing the use of fossil fuels, which resulted in the emission of greenhouse gases. And it also enhanced the energy conversion and efficiencies. To name a notable example for that is the Tesla's open patent policy, which provides everyone to use this to promote the sustainable transportation by reducing the fossil fuel use of fossil fuel. So by this, it promotes clean energy and also it leads to the achievement of sustainable cities by reducing the air pollution and the climate changes which are prevailing mainly in the cities. And then to talk about the role of intellectual property with regard to economic growth and innovation, which mentioned under Sustainable Development Goal 8 and 9. So Sustainable Development Goal 9, which particularly talks about infrastructure, inclusive innovation and economic development. So IP plays a major role in promoting these goals through the innovation and, and advanced green technologies. And IP also provides technology transfer and licensing to make this green technologies to be available to the larger audience and to the larger developing countries to achieve their sustainable developments. IP is indispensable from fostering these goals through the innovation and sustainable industrial growth. Moving ahead with know the role of IP in environmental sustainability. Like IP plays, as I said before, IP plays a major role in climate action through its advanced technologies like which I mentioned before, like solar energy, wind energy, which helps to reduce the use of fossil fuels. And it also, with the help of advanced technologies like renewable energy, carbon capture, and climate resistant technologies, it contributes to achieve Goal 13, which particularly talks about climate action. And then
Sumati,
IP also,
Sumati, you
yes,
are
sir.
exhausted with your time. So the topic which you have chosen, it is very wide. It is like
Yeah,
Article
yeah,
20. See, it is what you have chosen. It is like Article 21 of Indian Constitution. It covers all aspects of life. So when we talk about
Yes,
Sustainable Development Goal, uh,
yes,
the reason which we have not chosen your paper for further review, it was that you have chosen very wide aspects of the Sustainable Development Goal. I would like to recommend you that please read the title of Shambhavi Tirupati, which has chosen, see, even the findings while she presented, achieving sustainable development 8, only one topic through the geographical indication. Just she has highlighted the economic growth. If you see the
yes, sir.
decent work and economic growth, if you have been chosen one of that, for example SDG 13, then you could come with the some findings. As of now, could you tell specifically what are the statistical data, what you have found, like what are the legal framework, what are the legal challenges that government of India, particularly since the presentation is here, like could implement, what are the failures, what is your recommendation?
Like
So
to
what
like
if you keep highlighting, I don't think so that we reach to the particular findings what we are looking for. So we are looking for solution. That solution, like you see, for example, the water purification, what you're presenting now, that is also, it comes out of the challenges. Now that is a solution. So that has been commercialized, and that commercialization created incentives in the form of investment money, right? So I am looking something from that. If you could tell us in brief.
Okay. Like in
Yes.
concluding, as I said, like IP, which helps to attain the sustainability, but it also comes with certain challenges. Like because IP's main objective is to grant exclusive rights, and this by providing exclusive rights, it curtains the ensuring of accessibility and equitable distribution of innovation through like that accessibility and equitable distribution is essential to promote sustainability, but that was mainly curtailed by this exclusive rights. So we need a supportive policy and legal framework to align IP rights within sustainability is an essential to promote the concept of sustainability development goals, I think. And then also the principle of mutual supportiveness to bridge the gap between intellectual property and innovation is also essential.
What are the laws? What are the laws which binds these two concepts together in India?
Because like most of the renewable energy technologies are basically from this IP advancement and innovation. So by that way, IP relates to promote sustainability.
Which IP? Are you looking for patent or all the intellectual properties?
With regard to like all of the intellectual property helps to promote sustainability. For example, if we take copyright, that helps to promote education, which is stated under goal number 6 through the through this fair use. And if we take a patent, like most of the technologies that used for this education and also for the sustainable agriculture and green agriculture, so that patented
Right.
also helps to promote.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much for your presentation and your time. So I'm looking for Amrita. Her topic is guarding the past, the role of intellectual property in protecting traditional knowledge. Amrita, did you join us? I believe she is not there. So, Sanjeev, right. We shall move to Nandani. Nandani P. Right. Uh, Next presenter would be Biswas. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
yes, sir.
Biswas. Yes. Okay, right. You have the floor. So now you have 10 minutes to present.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah, please be
Let me
specific. Be specific on the legal frameworks and your findings.
let me share for this screen.
Yes,
Let
please.
me share for this screen. Yes. Is it visible?
Yes, it is visible. Could you move a little so that we could see it properly? You're trying with mobile phone, right?
Yes, sir. I'm currently unavailable with the
Okay,
laptop.
right. Fine.
Uh, can I start?
Yes, you can start. I think you can come to the camera yourself. We don't see your presentation properly. It is fine if you can present.
So, unfortunately, my phone's camera is broken, and I'm
Okay,
unable to
fine.
open.
You can go. You can go without that. Please proceed.
A very late afternoon to the distinguished guests, honorable speakers, and fellow delegates. My name is Rinki Biswas, a student of North Bengal University Department of Law. It's my privilege to address my paper entitled "Bridging the Gap: Integrating Intellectual Property Strategies with ESG Criteria to Drive Sustainable Development Goals." So, to begin with, in today's era of growing environmental concern, the integration of intellectual property strategies and ESG criteria is becoming increasingly critical for driving sustainable development. Historically, ESG and IP have been treated as a separate domain. However, there is growing recognition of the need to integrate this framework to tackle the world's most pressing issues, that is, the climate change, inequality, and many more. As business and organizations strive to meet the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, the demand for innovative solutions that are both economically viable and socially responsible has never been more urgent. Um, with such, business can unlock new value proposition that contribute to economic growth, environmental stewardship, social inclusion, and ethical governance. These four are the main pillars of the SDG for building a sustainable future for everyone everywhere. Now, hence the research objective that I explores is the role of intellectual property in protecting green technologies, and to explore how intellectual property strategies can be effectively integrated with ESG criteria to support the achievement of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. As a UN SDG adopted in 2015 provide a global blueprint for addressing pressing issues like poverty, inequality, climate change, and peace. The research will analyze how IB can contribute directly to achieving these goals. Now, the vital need for protecting the green technology in advancing the sustainability is from renewable energy solution to eco-friendly innovation in transportation and other sectors. Green technology represent the most promising opportunities to reduce environmental harm and pave the way for a more sustainable future for generations to come. Protecting green technologies through intellectual property is essential for driving global sustainability effort, because the IP safeguards innovations like renewable energy system, efficient energy product, and sustainable materials, ensuring that inventors are rewarded for their eco-friendly inventions or solutions. By securing patent, eco product, trademark, copyright, industrial designs, and plant variety rights to protect development in green technology, IB foster healthy competition, encourages collaboration, and accelerate the commercialization of these technologies, making them more accessible in the market. Uh, so now let us understand what is the ESG criteria is. ESG basically stands for the environment, social, and the governance. The E in the ESG means the environmental factor pertains to the impact that an organization has on the environment, as well as its approach to risk management. This encompasses both direct and the indirect greenhouse gas emissions, the management of natural resources, and the organization's resilience to physical climate risks, such as the climate change, flooding, and the fires. It also includes an effort to reduce the company's carbon footprint with an emphasis on sustainability and minimizing environmental harm. And the social pillars of ESG focus on how companies can manage relationship with other employees, suppliers, customers, other communities, addressing the key issues such as the diversity, inclusion, labor right, and the consumer protection. It emphasizes an organization's interactions with its stakeholders and includes metrics like the human capital management, which covers fair wages and employee engagement, as well as the company's impact on local communities. And finally, the governance pillar of ESG pertains to how a company governs itself, encompassing its leadership structure, ethical practices, compliance, transparency, and the corporate accountability. So, some of the key ESG framework that I have included is the Global Reporting Initiative (GRI), which is an international, independent, and non-profit entity. These standards are a widely used framework for sustainability reporting, allowing companies to disclose their ESG impact. Second one is SASB, that is Sustainability Accounting Standard Board, which provide industry-specific guidelines for disclosing financially material ESG factors relevant to investors. Uh, Third one is Task Force on Climate-related Financial Disclosure, which has been created
Biswas,
in 2015.
Biswas, could you tell specifically on the legal framework of this topic what you are talking about, rather than reading it or you're giving information?
So it basically talks about the link that is existed between the IP and the SDGs, aligning with the ESG criteria.
Yes, we talk about ESG. That ESG is a principle where it controls the business behavior of the companies. That the invention should be economically profitable. Also, it should be socially responsible and economically, environmentally sustainable. Even the business strategies should be adopted in that way to attract more investment. So, what are the exact provision of the law that governs? What is your highlights and findings? See, we are looking for
Yes.
solution and findings. We are not. Yes, please proceed.
So first one is IPR is directly linked to the SDG 9, that is in innovation industry and infrastructure, by promoting innovation in industrial sectors, by safeguarding the patent,
This
trademark,
was
and the
if
design.
this was if we if we talk in the terms of interaction. See, IPR is like umbrella term. SDGs also. Each component of IPR can be connected to each component of the SDG. It is not only to the nine, even to one. When you talk about poverty, what SDG one talks about, it talks about poverty. The second one, it talks about zero hunger. So what patent law protects? Patent protects innovation. So when you talk about poverty, what IPR protects? Innovation, incentive for the invention, for the creative work, literary work. So there is a means economic benefit, right? For the author of the work, for the creator of the work. So there is economic growth. IPR can be connected to all these SDG goals. Could you tell specifically, for example, even you see the 16 or 17, there is a it talks about the strong institution and justice. So if you have a strong IPR, then there will be rule of law. Then you can appear substantially and even procedure wise. So could you tell specifically what are the provision of the law that governs which you are presenting right now?
So I haven't.
What are the gaps that the gaps you are trying to bridge?
So there are the many challenges that the
So you
organization
are trying to say
policy.
that you are trying to tell that there is a challenges, because of the challenges cannot be connected.
Yes, sir.
What are the challenges? Could you tell?
Uh,
Is
because of the high
specifically in the form of yes.
Because of the high patent cost, limited access to technology, and the
Okay.
lack of the local IP infrastructure, it may prevent developing countries from accessing crucial innovations. For instance, patent on the life-saving drugs, vaccine, or the
Right.
clean energy
Fine.
technologies may be too expensive for the population that need them the most,
Right.
hindering progress on SDG, that is the SDG 3, good health and
Fine.
the
Fine.
well-being, and SDG
Fine.
7,
Yes.
affordable and the clean energy.
Yes,
There
ma'am.
are other
Thank you.
challenges.
Ma'am,
I
thank you.
highlight.
Thank you, ma'am. You are exhausted with your time. That's what we were looking for. Thank you. So next presenter we have Shrimati Sheila Ganesh, ma'am. Ma'am, are you
Yes.
there? Yes. Would you like to share your PowerPoint presentation, or would you like to come on the camera?
Presentation only, no sharing of PPT. Good afternoon, I'm Sheila Ganesh, Assistant Professor
Could,
JSS Law College.
ma'am, could you
And
come to the camera? We would like to see you.
yeah, I'm already turned on my video.
No,
It's
we
on
don't see you.
now.
No, still we don't see you. Let's help you technically. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, I'm Sheila Ganesh, Assistant Professor JSS Law College. Yeah, my today's topic is I have opted for this topic: conflicting dimensions of intellectual property rights, sustainable development goals, and access to medicine equity. And before I begin, I would like to thank Department of Studies in Law as well as University of Mysuru for giving this opportunity, and also the organizing team committee who has arranged this international webinar on legal framework for synergizing sustainable development goals, intellectual property. So I'll be taking my study first related to public health and followed by certain aspects like the sustainable development goals and the constitutional provisions, international efforts in attaining the sustainable development goals as far as access to medicine is concerned. Then followed by checking upon the provisions under the patents law regime as well as the Drugs and Cosmetics Act of 1940, and what actually is the real problem with regard to patents. We're not blaming completely about the patents. What actual problem, the growing challenges are there, such concepts like evergreening of commodities, pharmaceutical products, or we can also say blockbuster drugs. These are making the things, medicines not non-affordable, or it may be it is not having access to it becomes more critical. So we try to refer to the TRIPS agreement as well as WTO regime, and we also see the following events in 2001 we had Doha Declaration and Cancun Declaration in 2003 like that, and we also refer how far it is feasible, and there are some ways of not just limiting only to compulsory licensing. What other means in which we can try to attain access to medicine, balancing both intellectual property rights as well as the areas of public health. So the health, we all know the health is a fundamental right, and it's been declared in our constitution as well as in the World Global Assemblies and other conventions as well. However, having said so, we have not attained complete right to health. So we have attained only to the marginal extent only. So how to carry forward this? It's only we try to relate the more responsibility or more responsibilities shouldered on the government in bringing about necessary policies, programs, and as well as legislative measures. And first of all, public health, when you say it's a complex phenomenon and it wants to have a holistic idea about how to attend to the address to the area of public health. And we refer this maxim called solus populi suprema, like people's welfare is supreme law. Here again, it applies for public health aspect as well. When we are speaking about public health, we refer to the value of given to public health, that is equity. Everyone must have the access and also the affordability of having the public healthcare facilities. And we have to follow the global influences as well as and when the trends of global influences are there. That's why we are taking this sustainable development goals also as a topic. When this is one of the global initiations, and global health is also to be considered in this line. And when you say public health, relating to the global health perspective also, we must make necessary provision for making clinical facilities including healthcare, drugs, and medicines. And for my research, I would like to taper it down to access to medicine. When we speak of public health, it may be very comprehensive, and we'll be running out of the time. And WHO now refers what is public health or health in general. It's a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely absence of just free from diseases or infirmity. And as far as WHO is concerned, the health, according to WHO, it tries to refer to resource of living, not just mere animal existence, a resource of living. And why we have to speak about health? Because people are born with a certain type of diseases and death, everything. These are all natural course of events. But how well we can actually bring more effective lifestyle, better the quality of living, and that's where you see the need for medicines is also be counted. And we have different types of disease, health problems in the name of disease. So it could be congenital disease or acquired diseases, or it could be the form of communicable disease or the non-communicable disease. Wherever we see there is a need for medicines. So there is now that's how we take forward the public health, and there are also definitions given by Winslow as well as Beagle and Bonita. They have given a comprehensive definition. Now that there is a crucial role of the government to bring about in protecting and promoting the public health, and that has also I have referred in my study. And we also trace the Indian concept of public health and how it has to ensure, and how what type of necessary policy measures, programs, and other legislative initiation has to be brought by the government. That is also being referred. Now, the status of health, the public health, is that we are given the human right based approach. Whenever we say there's a human rights based approach, there comes, it's not only the individual's claim for their right, but it is also a bounden duty of the government to bring about to make a situation where it is feasible for the people to realize the right to health. So that's where again we found for the need for the government's obligation in this regard. As far as the global arena is concerned, the global efforts are concerned, we trace the efforts of World Health Assembly, and which had come forward with an idea of health for all by the year 2000. So it could not, that means these are all promoting things where we try to achieve one by one in the course of events. So though it's not, may not be completely successful, but still we have the hope and promoting the healthcare. And that's why we had Millennium Development Goals and followed by and the Sustainable Development Goals. So all these things aim in ensuring the fundamental principle being that to ensure equitable distribution of health resources in every nation and as well as globally. And followed by Almaty Conference in 1978, that was also insisting to build strategies and plan of actions to launch sustain public, primary healthcare as part of the national health system. And following which, India has also brought about various national health policies in the country and addressing various health-related issues. Now, moving forward with the Sustainable Development Goals, I would like to make a specific reference to Sustainable Development Goal number 3, so which deals with good health and well-being. And in order to achieve this, so there are further 13 targets been identified to achieve this particular Sustainable Development Goal 3. And among the 13 targets, I would like to refer to three important targets. That is how to fight communicable disease. So there are various type of epidemics prevailing throughout the world, like AIDS, tuberculosis, malaria, and neglected tropical diseases are there. So the medical facilities and the goal also aims to address this the communicable disease to eradicate or completely to put an end to epidemics as such. That was the target. And another target to achieve universal health coverage, that is also been mentioned in one of the target. So which includes the financial access to quality essential healthcare, as well as affordable essential medicines, vaccines for all, and so on. And one more target that has been stipulated there is support research, development, and universal access to affordable vaccines and medicines. So especially this aims to help the developing nations and to bring about the medicines at affordable cost, including the essential medicine and vaccines. And it also tries to want to keep in accordance with the Doha Declaration of the TRIPS Agreement, which helps the developing countries in various aspects. And just like that, it wants to promote public health and also to make available the access to medicine for all. And that's what the global forum, that is SDGs, try to aim in essentially bringing about good health for all people throughout the world. Apart from SDGs, there are other international guidelines: UDHR, ICE, SER, ALMA-ATAR, CEDA, CRC, IHR, that is International Health Regulation, UNCRPD, like that, many other efforts are there. And now, relating to the constitutional provisions in India, needless to say, the preamble of the constitution itself speaks about welfare state and the social justice. All this idea it tries to achieve egalitarian society, and this is being carried forward in the fundamental rights. Though the fundamental rights do not specifically speak about right to health, but invariably the courts have interpreted it in a length, and they have accommodated right to health within the ambit of Article 21. And more important to this fundamental rights, the directive principles of state policy plays very crucial role in ensuring health care, especially Article 33, 33, 38, 39, 41, 42, 47, and 48A. And I would like to reiterate that Article 33 it's been ignored in many of the aspects. That means it speaks about duty of the state to apply directive principles of state policy in the making the law. So it is so progressive, it is so proactive. It gives all scope for the government to bring about the legislation to meet the needs of the directive principles of state policy. That is the welfare state idea. And now, just we are coming to the core area of pharmaceutical patents. So why, first of all, let us understand what is this pharmaceutical patent and why it is required and how it is carried forward and what are the types in it and what is the actual problem in addressing, specific to that access to medicine. So every drug, it's like any patent, and again, I'm relating only to patent laws of intellectual property rights and not covering other aspects with regard to pharmaceutical products. So the pharmaceutical products could, unlike any other innovation, it requires more serious process, and it's not every type of drug what they identify or innovate is going to be success. So out of all million, and they are going to break it down, and five active the API compound will be identified. It will be followed by medical research and clinical research, and finally testing their efficacy and safety. It's going to come to the market. So a lot of investment is required, a lot of cost is required in it, and also the other infrastructure and regulatory compliances are there. So it is pertinent to provide them with adequate recognition in the form of patent law that has been well recognized. That is a valid kind of contention. Every pharmaceutical company also will place it. And what is the how long is the duration of pharmaceutical patent given? Its duration has been now stipulated to 20 years of time. And on what basis the pharmaceutical patents are given? It's given on the basis of three requirements of innovative step, in novelty, innovative step, industrial application. Unlike other patents, it's here it is trying to make it more stringent and technical for application of patent. And what types of patents are available as far as pharmaceutical patents are concerned? There are three major types, like product patent, that's recent one, the product patent. Initially, it was granted with process patent, and also
Ma'am,
even to the formulation
thank you,
patent,
ma'am.
it is being identified.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. You are excessive your time. Could you briefly demarcate between the patent process and patent product in India? Like what are the legal framework right now? What are the challenges between these two? Why India?
Patent
Why
Act
India?
1970.
Yes, why India and these steps are different with the US in case of the patent products and patent process?
Yeah, in US, since you have asked about US, in US we have Hatchman-Waxman and legislation. That's called Drug Price Competition and Patent Term Restoration Act of 1984. It somehow it tries to balance between the generic manufacture and patented drugs. My area of concern is with regard to how well the patented commodities could come very soon to the market at affordable cost, So there is a practice by the pharmaceutical companies. What they try to use, they manipulate or misuse the patent term, and they would like to extend the patent term, not just limiting only to 20 years. They would like to make slight modification and extend to the term such that idea is called as evergreening. And not only that, they have come out with the idea of called the blockbuster drugs. The blockbuster drugs, though it may be all type of drugs, even the certain drugs which is a form and nature, like diabetic drugs, BP, and other tablets, cholesterol related drugs. So what they try to do, they want to hit the market always. That's called something called patent cliff. So they want to ensure that their commodities, given the period of time, they would like to have maximum profit out of it. So that's the patent cliff or the blockbuster drugs. And now the crucial thing which we have to note for the sustainable development goals is that we must limit this blockbuster drug kind of culture, or we must stop extending of patent regime, duration, evergreening of patent. What the drug companies, what they do, they try slightly bring some modification by the end of the patent term. They try to bring slight modification and try to make it as a new drug. And India in 2005, we have brought an amendment to the patent regime. We have brought Section 3, Clause D of the patent regime, which speaks about how we can bring about the enhanced, significantly enhanced effectiveness. That's what we see in the Novartis case as well. And we could not win in India. We could not patent. They could not obtain a patent in India, and that's the thing. So in my study, I have come out with these type of suggestions to encourage more voluntary licensing from the manufacturer. There is a role even to be played by the pharmaceutical companies. They should come forward, not just sticking onto the patent regime or the terms or evergreening practices. They must come voluntarily to license their rights to others, so that others can come with more generic medicines. And also the compulsory licenses we have to increase in the country as and when the need. So
Right.
waiver protection.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Srimati Sheila Ganesh has explored for that. I mean, she's advocating for affordable medicine and access to medicine, which is aligned with the sustainable development goal to be achieved by each state. I mean, I'm talking about the countries. So we shall move with the questions. If there is any question from the audience, we are looking for questions with regard to patent, affordable medicine, access to medicine. Right. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. There's no question for you. So we shall go for the next presenter, Laskar. Mochin Laskar. Are you there? So, right. I'm looking for Suma. Suma, did you join? With the title Traditional Knowledge, Intellectual Property, and Sustainable Practices in Indigenous Communities. Right. I believe she didn't join. Miss Sunita, along with Renjin. What is there in the chat box? Does she message that she's here? Okay, it's the question. Right. So among the presenters, I see some presenters who are absent. Sunita, Suma, Laskar, 3. So I will just see if any of these absent. Vivek Jain, did you join? Sanjeev. Right. I think we come to the end of the program. Now we shall have yes.
Am I audible, sir? Myself is Jyoti Meenakshi. I'm also one of the member of presentation.
Okay, please proceed.
Is it visible, sir?
Yes, good
Can I
afternoon. You have a
present?
10 minutes if your time. Please use your time judiciously and tell us directly what are your findings, what are the legal challenges that you would like to highlight and bridge for the discussion. Yes.
Is the screen visible, sir?
Yes, you're visible, but your screen is not visible.
Okay, fine, sir. Okay, so my topic here is the impact of geographical indications on sustainable rural development, comprehensive economic and cultural insights from Wayanad. So it is a particular study on Wayanad. So it is common that GI is a form of item that identifies a product as originating from a specific geographical area where its quality, reputation, and other features or characteristics are intrinsically linked to its origin. So many GI products are produced using eco-friendly practices passed through generations, and it is quite common in Wayanad also. It often certifies the authenticity of products, discouraging counterfeit goods. So the recognition of GI has a profound impact on the sustainable rural development, and it protects the products originating from a specific region with unique qualities linked to its geography, and that is also quite common in Wayanad. GA particularly contribute to multiple SDGs, which include SDG 1, now poverty SDG 8, and SDG 12 also. And with regard to the policy taken by the government regarding GI, we have GI of Goods Registration and Protection Act 1999, which helps for the registration and for the e-commerce platform, which includes a Try India National Awareness Mission, and we have one district, one product initiative. So these are mentioned and it's ease of registration. But the research gap in my particular study is that even we have these kind of policies in India, but some sort of what you say, some sort of discouragement is also facing from Wayanad as there are lots of local producers. They are literally not at all aware of these kind of infrastructure facilities. So these kind of challenges are literally seen in Wayanad, and that are one of the complications that faced in this particular area. So this particular study aims to evaluate the economic impact of GI on local products in Wayanad and to analyze the role of GI in cultural preservation and environmental sustainability, to identify various challenges and opportunities through GI implementation, and to also propose various policy recommendations for lasting rural level. And it is found through the study there are mainly high cost and complexity of registration, limited awareness among the local producers, inadequate infrastructure, difficulty in accessing broader markets. So these are the various challenges that I found through the study. But still, there are opportunities also as part of this SWOT analysis. And we found that boosted market value is there in particular region, cultural heritage preservation is there, promotion of sustainable practices, enhance the rural tourism. These are all quite common in Wayanad as a considered as an opportunity. When coming to economic and social impact, when coming to economic impact, GI increases market value, created jobs, and stimulated rural economic growth in general, and also as a cultural perspective, GIs safeguard traditional knowledge and reinforce cultural identity. And on environmental perspective, it promotes eco-friendly production methods and biodiversity conversion. And also, I took mainly 5 case studies: Arumala Kannadi, Wayanad Jeeragashala rice, Malabar pepper. So these are the various GI products which is quite familiar in Wayanad district. And it is found that the main challenge faced by these products are by the local producer are like they are not at all able to get a broader market. They are not all getting enough infrastructure. So the policy recommendation from my side or from my perspective is that financial support for GI registration and its marketing, awareness campaigns to educate producers, distribution, collaborative efforts between stakeholders, simplification of registration process, and these will all help support local producers to just go through this GI products and their protection. And on a concluding note, I can say that geographical indication drives sustainable rural development by enhancing economic, cultural, environmental aspects. So while we are addressing these challenges and leveraging opportunities, will literally maximize the impact on regions like Wayanad and other these local areas. So this this is what I found through my own studies.
Right, thank you. So we have a next presenter, Laskar, Mochin Laskar. Till she join, is there any question from audience to her? Yes, Laskar, you may proceed, please. Would you like to share your presentation? Mochin Laskar, is there any question to the previous presentation? Okay, right. She has a network issue. Right. Is there any other presenters? Some are absent. I will recall once again. Sanjeev, Amrita, Nandini, Jitin has joined. Right. We come to the conclusion of the program. We shall have a brief vote of thanks, then we let you know. To go. Right. We come to the end of the program. I shall render a vote of thanks to all of you, dear esteemed guests, speakers, presenters, and participants. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you for making this program a success. This was not the work of the organizing team alone, but it was your contribution that you have joined us and you made it happen. And when I use we, I'm talking on behalf of my organizing committee at the Department of Studies in Law, University of Mysore. And I would like to especially express my heartfelt gratitude to Honorable Vice Chancellor, University of Mysore, who has given us permission, and the Honorable Registrar, who has helped us with all the formalities, such as giving this room where we're sitting and communicating with you, and give us permission to host and conduct this program. To our distinguished guest speaker, Professor Srinivaslo NS, who has given his precious time and highlighted this topic thoroughly, and we are enriched with his explanation and insightful discussion. Of course, a young IPR attorney, Dati Shaw, who has given a broad perspective of IPR and SDG, and Professor Ramesh, organizing secretary to this program, and Professor of Law at the Department of Studies in Law, University of Mysore, who has guided us thoroughly from the beginning till today to this program to happen. And Professor including to Professor Ramesh, we have Professor M.S. Benjamin, and who is the chairman of the Department of Studies in Law, who has given us permission and communicated with the University of Mysore and encouraged us and supported us that to conduct this international webinar on legal framework and synergizing IPR and sustainable development to harmonize these two domains of the law. And in his absence, I would like to express my gratitude to Professor Maruti, who has supported us during this program. I should not forget to highlight the role of this institute. It is called Institute of Excellence at the University of Mysore, who has provided this hall and gave us permission that we conduct here, and the director of ICD at the Computer Science Department, and Mr. Milan, who has sit here for long hours and supported us. And thank you to all of you that you have joined from the different parts of India, and you have given your time. Your thought-provoking presentation and your engaging with the discussion has enriched us, and we now understand the complexity of sustainable development goal and IPR, and we are looking now to create more sustainable and equitable future. So we also appreciate all our teams who have helped us in her absence, Kavya, and all of you that you have joined us, and the participants who has been this long time with us. So thank you so much. Thank you so much that you have joined us, and we shall maintain this bonding, and we will continue. And I would like to see you in next webinar, which we have on 14 December 2024. And we have a professor from Belgium, and we have a professor from Jindal Global University who is going to talk on the intricacies of uh, international investment law and IPR. I hope that to see you again. Thank you. Thank you so much. Sakulus the recording.